Good morning, everyone. Welcome again to another webinar today. I hope you are all doing great, and I hope you've gone back and listened to the other webinars if you haven't joined live. Today, I do have some people joining me live. We'll just wait for a couple more minutes just to see if anyone else is joining. As I said, you can always go back and look at the replay and respond. If you've got questions, you can post them and I'll get back to you. As soon as I finish the webinar, I will have the link in my bio under different headings. So you can go back and listen to the one that you want to listen again. And feel free to post your comments or thoughts, and happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you again for the people joining me live today, and for those watching the replay, thank you for taking your time. I'd really like to know what stage of building you are in, or are you planning to do something in your current home? What's happening? It would be lovely to know. If you can just pop up in the chat, it would be amazing. Just playing around. Yeah, that's good. It's always nice to play around, isn't it? Okay, so maybe we get started. So if you've been following my webinars, you might be aware that initially I did go through the elements of design, principle of design. I went into some more detail about lighting, colors. So these are all topics, as I mentioned, these are, they are much more broader topics, but then I have touched through and given you a general idea basis on which you can create for your space. So now once we have all these ideas, how do we go about when we are planning to do something? How do we go about designing a space? Now we always know when we are scrolling through social media these days, because it's so popular. I remember olden days, it used to be the magazines, the home magazines and all. We would look through and there would be images that catch our attention, and we might either cut the image or save the image somewhere in our book, maybe create like a scrapbook, it used to be called. So now for when you do it with your home, we use a term called mood boards, that you create a mood board. Sometimes it can be also referred to as a lookbook, what you want the look and feel to be. So mood board being, generally when you look at the images, rather than explaining in words, when you look at the images, it gives you, you can actually feel the mood of the space. So for most, when you are coming to whether it be design or decorating, mood boards are very helpful because they give you the visual picture and you are able to communicate better. So let's talk about how to create our own mood boards for the space that you're looking for. I'll share my screen here. There we go. So how to create your own mood boards. Some of you, if you've been following me, you would have come across this. I have done this similar one quite some time before, which is really good because this is one of the topic I find many people are interested to hear about, because every time you listen to it, you might find something, that you can use in your next project. So let's go about it. So to start, let's start with what are mood boards. Now, usually mood board is referred as a tool for a creative journey. Now, there are many, many professions who use mood board, interior design being one, of course, architecture and interior design you have. Then you've got fashion industry, photography, and event organizers as well, because they'll show you how, the look and feel through photos, and then work on your theme and prepare. So mood board is actually a tool that you use to describe what ideas you have in your mind. Why do you need them? It is just to be more clear, because rather than using words, images give you a quick idea. Like often when I have initial discussion with clients, we do as inspirational photos, because I'll show them some photos after we've had a chat to see, which photo inspires them more. Or they might send me some photos saying this is what they liked. And then you get an idea of what is it that they like about the photo. You know, what is it that they're probably liking? And then it helps us to move forward in a design. So again, clearly communicate rather than words. By images, you're able to clearly communicate. Now, there are different types of mood boards, one being physical mood boards, where you actually collect materials, the actual materials, and you visualize them. This used to be very popular earlier, and I think most even now in larger studios, architectural places, they do use that, where you have the actual samples placed together. We tend to do it when we are creating, say, custom cabinetry or something. We have the actual samples that we put together and see if that works along. So I'll just give you a reference here. So say, for example, that's a tile that we were looking at. I don't know if it's clear. Then we had the color of the material. Not sure if you can see that. It's not very clear. Yeah, there you can see. And then say, for example, that's the handle or the hardware that we're thinking. So these are actual materials that you put together. That's the stone that you actually put together and see if you're liking it. So these days, when you have people who are doing new build, you have a thing called material selection day, where you actually go and collect the samples, put them together and see if you know they're working together. If you go for the ones that the builders have already set, they would have had everything organized to that particular scheme. Now things get a little difficult when you start to customize, because when you start to change, you're going off from the main collection that they have and customizing it. So then you need to make sure everything falls together. Now, most of the times you do have consultants and designers up there who help you. And like I said, if you don't, we offer that help as well. So if there's something that's going on in your mind, you can always get back to me, DM, to see if, you know, if we can work together. So that was just talking about the mood boards and material selection. Another way is virtual one, where you're putting images and references for photo and then putting them together together as one piece. And then when you look at it, you get the look and feel of the space, and you are able to get an idea of how you will like it, or maybe what is it that you don't like in the space. Images are very powerful, because immediately when you see that, you're able to say whether you like it or not. You know, the feel and vibe in an image comes across very clear. Now, when you talk about physical mood boards, actually you need, if you're doing your renovation, you need to go to places where they have the bench top and collect the materials and put them together. Virtual is much more easier these days, because you can just Google. There are so many images. You'll get references from Google's. Then there are platforms like Pinterest, which have a lot of information in there, a lot of images. And then, of course, Instagram is also gaining a lot of importance with the, you know, inspirational pictures that you can get. And just by putting them together, you will be able to communicate what is it that you like. Now, as saying, when you're doing visual, of course, we do in a little more customized way, where I create it in Photoshop. But these days, Canva is really popular. They have ready-made pieces. It's just a matter of you uploading what you want and putting them in the template that you like. So Canva is quite handy if you're preparing your own mood board. And of course, PowerPoint, if you know the software PowerPoint, you can just insert images and create your mood board. So that's the different types and how you can create them. Sorry. So this one, very clear. It's a physical mood board where you can see actual samples are placed together and created. So by looking at it, you can know this is a kind of a warm theme. We've got some fabric, some wallpaper in there. We've got some painted finish as well, a bit of gold to bring in a bit of glam. So you can see how we've created a physical mood board. That was from one of a cafe project that I did. And this was a virtual mood board I had created for one of my clients, where we were doing a powder room design. So you can see the design on the left. That was one random image we found on Google, which was quite an inspiration. The client really loved it. And then we selected some tiles and fittings from around the places here and put them together. So you can see that's the reference. And we were working with other items. Like we were thinking we'll go for like a black or a white theme feature wall, and then, having your fittings along with it. So that gives you the virtual mood board. So this is the actual picture. So this was the inspiration where we started. And from there, we went to actually select the materials and we created this actual. So it is customized. Of course, like we have a nook, that is where it was positioned, and we had a feature wall at the back, which is mosaic tiles. So we did the white tiles. And of course, the flooring being dark, we decided to add the dark grout, creating that contrast. And the vanity unit, we customized and built the whole thing in black. So we went for black tapware, black fittings, and of course, black cabinetry as well. So you can see that inspiration was there, but it's quite customized. It's not the same. It's quite different from what that was there. And we've created our own spice here. So this is how when you create a mood board, you give a visual idea, then you're able to actually from that pull things what you want and then create your own. Now this was another kitchen that we did. So where we opted for two-tone kitchen with a dark bench top. And you can see we've selected the materials that we liked on the bottom. So that is the Laminex, the stone bench, and how we played around with the color. We finalized the look that is what we like. We selected what materials we wanted. And that's the final look of it. So we've followed that. We've kept the theme. And that's what we've achieved. Now this, of course, we started with the virtual one, but before getting into the actual build, we did collect samples of the laminate and the bench top like that, so that we could have put them together and have a look. So we did have it. We didn't create like a mood board, but we still had them together to have a look, and then it went into manufacturing. So we had the chance to do that. Now, how do you go about creating your mood boards? So I've just explained what is it, how it actually derives from the mood board to the actual. So one is, of course, brainstorm the ideas. Initially, when you're thinking, first you have to decide which space is it that you're thinking. Let's take one room, for instance. Just say you want to do your living room. And you collect a lot of images that you come across your living room. So first you collect all the images that you want. Of course, if it's soft copy, just have them somewhere in your folder. And sometimes if you are a person who likes to follow a certain style, like a Hampton style, modern style, Scandi style, these are all different styles which are popular, but you don't have to be caught up with it. It doesn't have to be that you have a particular style. There could be just some images that you like. You may not know the style, but there will be images that you like. Just pull them out together. And then once you pull them out, you might have a vast variety of collection. Now you have to actually sort them out and figure out what is it that you really like. And look at the photo and say, for example, in a photo, there might be only a certain part that you liked or certain part you don't like. Make sure you make a note of it. If it is something you like, you make a note of it. If not, make a note of that as well. So that when you're putting it together, you have to sort them. And then you have to make sure you channel it and make you have a lesser number of choice, because if you have wide variety which is all showing different styles, it'll be confusing. So if you've got few different styles, you will have to look through each photo, give yourself some time to make sure which is it that you really love, and pull that out and even study that. What is it that you like about it? Is it the color that you're liking? Is it the way they've arranged the room that you're liking? Is it the lighting that you're liking? So there'll be a lot of aspects. Whatever elements we've mentioned before, whatever principles, if you start noticing it, pay attention to what is it, you can figure it out and find out what is it that you like. And of course, you might have to research. Say, for example, you found some bit, but you might have to research some more. And make sure you've got an idea of all the materials. For here, instance, I've mentioned about bedroom. So once you collect the pieces, there's not only bed, you're talking about the side table, if you want a reading chair, if you want an artwork. So make sure you have a collection of all of these. And look at them, when that's a big thing. You might have to study them and see if you're really liking it when they're together. Because it's quite easy, as I said, when you have images, they speak out very obviously. When you're putting them together, if you like it, that means you like it. You just like the way it is. And you can go out to buy things which are very similar to whatever you have selected. So you stay true to your mood board. As I said, with colors, don't go overboard when you're practicing because it might just get too much. Have like mainly maybe 2 colors. Say if you're going for neutral tones, you know you're going for the beige brown look. If you're going for a cooler tone, Hampton style, you're going for the the whites, grays, and the blues. And then as we mentioned, you can think about how repetition. So if you've got white and the gray, which is the basic, how would you add some blue and bring in repetition, rhythm, whatever elements we've mentioned before, you can think about how you can start putting them together. As I always say, if you're experimenting, make sure you have your main big items in neutral colors because it's much easier to play around with smaller items like for cushions, rugs, and those decor items, which you can change color easily. And if you feel that doesn't sit right, you can even get rid of it. When you have your main pieces, if you're worried about your colors, make sure you stay neutral with the main pieces and then play around with the other elements where you can opt for some more color. So this is this is quite inspirational, like a Hampton style. You can see grays, whites, and the blues. And we did for one of an elderly, it was my client's father's room. So he really liked that blue, the soft tones. From this inspiration, we created a mood board. We took like a little blue wallpaper, plain bedding, and then of course added to it with the blues. And we decided we needed a chair, so we would highlight the chair. Side table would be simple. So that was one. I thought I had a finished product. I don't think I have a finished photo of that. This was another one we did for a living room. So when you look at it, these clients have got in touch with me because they brought the couch once while they were building, and they really liked that color, but they were not sure how can they bring in this color with the rest of the theme. So I had them put this together. So this was the mood board I created. And of course, they do have the couch and the cushions now, but they have to add the armchair. They have to add the light fittings, which they'll probably do it over the period of time. So once I gave them the mood board, now they know when they go out what they're looking, what color they're after, and they'll pick something quite similar to it. So that is something we can always do. Once you create a mood board, it's always to going back to it and referring. And then when you're out there buying, you make sure you carry your mood boards with you when you go out shopping so that you can stay true to the mood boards that you have. Of course, the colors will slightly vary when you look at the mood board on the side, but even then, when you have an idea, you will be able to look and figure out whether it works or not. And if not, always feel free to get back. We can answer your questions. So that was it from me today. As I said, please join my Facebook group, Latika Nair Design. I do have a lot of videos, how-to, small tips and techniques that I post in there, which would be quite interesting for you, I guess. And I want to make it an interactive group so that you can post your questions and I can always get back to you. Also, I've got my website. You can just Google Latika Nair Design. You'll find all my socials up there, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and my webpage as well. If you've got any questions, oh, by the way, before I stop, sorry, I forgot to ask, does anybody have any questions? Let me just check the chat. Stop sharing. No, I cannot see any questions. So anyone out there, if you've got questions, please let me know and I can get back to you. I hope you've got an understanding of how you would need to create your own mood boards. And enjoy creating your own and creating your own beautiful space. Have a lovely day. Thank you for watching this. Bye.